This is the CBS Evening News. Dan Rather reporting. Good evening. The Bush Quayle Transition Office officially opens for business Monday, but there's plenty of transition business underway at the White House already. CBS News National Affairs correspondent Leslie Stahl has more about that and about President-elect Bush's possible strategy for trying to mend fences with the Democratic-controlled Congress.
It came close to being a Bush White House today. Dan Quayle dropped by to check out the vice presidential digs. Mr. Reagan asked his entire cabinet for their resignations to give the president-elect freedom to form his own government. And Bush and Mr. Reagan presided together over a cabinet meeting. The transition is underway. When he gets back from a 4-day fishing vacation, Mr. Bush's first order of business, working out a formula for getting along with the Democratic Congress. His biggest problem, fellow Texan Jim Wright, the Speaker of the House.
I think we speak the same language, he with a kind of North Texas accent. I'm from Weatherford, he's from Kennebunkport. I think that's Northeast Texas, but we understand one another.
Still, Wright's allies say he has not forgiven Mr. Bush for publicly calling for an independent prosecutor to investigate the Speaker. Bush is searching for a bipartisan coalition because, as he himself put it, the problems he faces are awesome.
The issues are very sobering. You know, what to do about the horrendous deficit, what to do about our very serious trade imbalance, what to do about the crisis of the savings and loan banks in this country.
To confront those problems, Mr. Bush is considering a troika of top White House aides, similar to the setup in Mr. Reagan's first year when he had an 80% success rate in Congress. In this plan, Craig Fuller would be the chief of staff. Bob Teeter, his campaign pollster, would get Ed Meese's old job of counselor to the president. New Hampshire Governor John Sununu would get the third slot.
I have choices to make, and I want to go where I can use the experience that I think I've put together.
And one more thing, a role for Dan Quayle.
I don't think any final decision, exact role has been made.
When people forecast problems, they forget a few things. That George Bush is a Washington insider who was once in Congress himself. One of his close advisors said he can get along with Democrats. He doesn't come in with Reagan's ideological shield to do battle. Leslie Stahl, CBS News, Washington.
A science and money bonanza for Texas today. Texas is the winner of the Energy Department's national sweepstakes for a huge project worth billions of dollars and thousands of jobs. It's for a new thing called the superconducting super collider. That would be the world's largest atom smasher. Some of the losers are saying the choice of Texas has more to do with politics than science. CBS News White House correspondent Terrence Smith reports on the clash over the collider.
This small Texas town won the scientific equivalent of the lottery this morning when the government chose it as the site for the world's largest and most advanced accelerator, the superconducting super collider. Texas beat out 6 other states to win the $5.3 billion project.
It's a great day for Texas. There's no question about it.
Put a lot of people to work. That's what we need.
The world's largest scientific instrument, the Super Collider will be housed in a racetrack-shaped tunnel 53 miles around. Physicists will send 2 beams of protons in opposite directions, accelerating them to the speed of light. They hope the particles that result from the collision will help unravel the secrets of the basic building blocks of matter. It's pure research, but scientists believe it will lead to breakthroughs in medicine, transportation, and new, more efficient motors, not to mention the esoteric world of high-energy physics.
We discovered electrons, protons, neutrons, quarks, subleptons. We're taking the next step. We're jumping into the next generation.
Or, as they say it in Texas,
We today are basically looking at the fuzz on the outside of the peach. We know relatively little about the interior of that peach.
7 states competed for the project, and today's choice of Texas brought cries of foul and charges of politics.
The people who chose it probably would say, now what is the thing that Texas have that Colorado doesn't? And they would say, Chairman of the Finance Committee and Speaker of the House. That's only common sense.
Arizona's senior senator is demanding a federal review of the selection.
Coming 2 days after the election, and knowing the little bit I do know about the Texas site, I just find it very difficult to accept.
But in Waxahachie, Texas, the collider will bring thousands of jobs and billions of dollars.
There are going to be a lot of changes in Waxahachie. Hopefully there'll be good changes.
Changes that will carry both Waxahachie and American physics into the 21st century. Terrence Smith, CBS News, Washington.
2 days after the polls closed in Florida's tight Senate race, state officials tonight declared Republican Connie Mack is the winner, now pulling out front with what is said to be a 29,000 vote lead over Democrat Buddy McKay. McKay has not conceded, citing what he calls voting irregularities. If Republican Mack's victory holds up, as state officials expected to do, the new U.S. Senate lineup would be 55 Democrats to 45 Republicans, a net gain of 1 for the Democrats. The California Supreme Court today at least temporarily blocked a voter-approved measure that would cut automobile and other insurance rates. Voters on Tuesday supported Proposition 103, which was called the nation's most expensive state ballot question ever. And consumer groups in other states threatened to spread the revolt against insurance costs. Correspondent Jerry Bowen reports.
No one would write your policy.
California's auto insurance revolution quickly turned to anarchy today as scores of insurance companies temporarily stopped writing policies in the state and went to court to overturn Proposition 103, the initiative that rolls back rates.
It was a false promise from the start. We continue to think it's a false promise. We also think it's unconstitutional.
I think the insurance companies are trying to pretend that we didn't win the election. They spent $70 million against us. They lost.
Prop 103, narrowly approved by voters Tuesday, requires the state's 650 insurance companies to slash rates 20% from 1987 levels. In addition, it mandates an additional 20% cut for safe drivers. But that's only the beginning. The new law requires rate cuts on virtually all property casualty insurance: home, business, municipalities, even malpractice. The law exempts companies which can prove they'll lose money, and that's quickly becoming an industry-wide claim.
There's no way that we or any company can sort of take a 20% price cut and still be economically viable. We just go bankrupt.
California's red-hot real estate industry has already been shaken by the controversy. The sale of one $4 million Hollywood house was put on hold today when an insurance company refused to issue the required homeowners policy, and real estate executives are nervous.
If there was no relief, the housing industry would come to a standstill.
Consumer activists say the insurance industry reaction is strictly harassment.
I think they're just going to provoke Californians into a greater level of outrage, and I think the whole intimidation process that they're engaged in is going to boomerang both among the public and among elected officials in Sacramento.
There's more at stake for the insurance industry than California, the nation's largest insurance market. The industry has real fears that yet another California revolt will spread across country. The industry's only hope is that the California courts will stop this revolution at the border. Jerry Bowen, CBS News, Los Angeles.
And still to come on the CBS Evening News, David Dow on a court fight for the custody of an 11-year-old college graduate. And Alan Pizzi on Sweden's new Bill of Rights for farm animals.
You're on your way.
Who would have figured it? I grow up in the city and end up testing products for the farm. Like this one from Dow. We study its effects in the classroom and check the results in the field. It yields more food, more profits for family farmers, and greater groundwater protection. But Dow gave me a grant to find out how to make it work even better. You know, I like being a city kid working in a cornfield.
Dow lets you do great things.
They're just a fantastic idea.
Tylenol gel caps? Powerful pain medicine.
They're solid, and they go down easier than capsules.
Tylenol gel caps have extra strength pain relief, concentrated into a solid center that's gelatin coated, so they're strong and easy to swallow.
They made Tylenol even better.
Gel caps work fast, and they're strong.
You want something strong? Gel caps. Tylenol gel caps.
Extra strength Tylenol gel caps. It's not a capsule, it's better.
You should have seen this Whirlpool cooktop a little while ago. My husband made chili all over. But with this smooth ceramic surface, it was so easy to clean. Heck, the way my Whirlpool appliances clean up, I feel just like June Cleaver.
This diver has a thin, powerful seal, but it's not on his mask. It's on his dentures. A seal so thin, so powerful, that more than any ordinary adhesive, Extra Hold Fast Teeth holds closer to real.
The Speaker of the West German Parliament touched off an angry protest during a Kristallnacht service today. During the solemn ceremony marking the 50th anniversary of the start of the Holocaust, Philipp Janiger talked at length about the positive feelings of Germans during the early years of the Hitler dictatorship.
Didn't Hitler represent the kind of leader a people is given only once in 1,000 years? As far as the Jews are concerned, did they not in the past assume a role they had no right to assume? Didn't they finally have to accept some restrictions? Didn't they perhaps deserve to have limits put on them?
With that, dozens of lawmakers stormed out, accusing the Speaker of insensitivity to the plight of Jews. One member of Parliament said Janiger, quote, marched through history with the intellect of combat boots. Those remarks by the West German Parliament Speaker brought immediate demands for his resignation. The Soviet Union announced the indefinite suspension of its half-complete troop withdrawal from Afghanistan last week. Now, the Soviet-backed Afghan Prime Minister is saying he is, quote, earnestly hopeful that the Soviets will still meet their February pull-out deadline. As the Soviets' troops leave Afghanistan, an old problem is cropping up there again, with potentially deadly consequences here in the United States. Doug Tennell in Paris reports.
At a remote clinic in Afghanistan 1 month ago, a 5-year-old girl whimpers as doctors try to feed her honey, a desperate effort to save a starving child. She is suffering from severe malnutrition, a familiar sight in rural Afghanistan today. The Soviet army has left behind a ravaged countryside. Farms destroyed either by design or by neglect, people more desperate than ever to feed their children. In the peace of rural Afghanistan today, Western analysts claim the seeds of a frightening new threat to the United States are being sown. More and more Afghan farmers are cultivating opium poppies that will be processed into heroin for export to the West.
You must remember that opium cultivation was a thing that was done before the war. So it's just like any other country coming out of a war. They go back to the things, hopefully, that they have done before the war, with some changes, but, you know, the war is just an irritating interruption.
The Soviet army disrupted cultivation. Pakistan's General Zia aggressively policed the traffickers. Still, Afghanistan was one of the world's largest producers of raw opium. Now, both the Soviets and Zia are gone. The forecast is for vast new fields to be planted within weeks. U.S. and other Western aid agencies are fighting a losing battle, trying to convince Afghan farmers to plant wheat and other crops instead of poppies.
If the farmer is deciding what to plant, for economic reasons, opium's the way to go.
This is the planting season, and these people cannot wait. As the little girl in the clinic slips into unconsciousness, a medic rigs a makeshift intravenous drip. When her breathing slows, a nurse resorts to mouth-to-mouth resuscitation. The child died in her father's arms. 8 years of war have left Afghanistan's stomachs empty, its cemeteries full, and its future shrouded in a desperate attempt to feed its children by exporting drugs and death. Doug Tennell, CBS News, Paris.
The U.S. Defense Department today officially took the wraps off one of its worst-kept secrets, the existence of the high-tech stealth jet fighter. It's built to be invisible to enemy radar. CBS News Defense Department correspondent David Martin has the story and the first picture.
The stealth fighter. With the release of this single photo, the Pentagon acknowledged for the first time today the existence of one of its most secret weapons.
It's been operational since October of 1983. A total of 59 aircraft are being procured. 52 of those have been delivered.
Designed to sneak through enemy air defenses by deflecting or absorbing radar signals, the stealth fighter is radically different from standard jet fighters, which rely on speed and sheer numbers to blast their way through. The stealth fighter is more expensive, but a man some call the father of stealth says it's worth the added cost.
We know it works against the kind of technology that the Soviets are likely to put against it.
And we know it works against any technology we can think of right now, too.
It may work, but employees at Lockheed, where the plane is built, claim the special materials used in the fighter are causing major health problems.
I can't take a deep breath, my lungs are affected, and I have a memory loss.
A Lockheed spokesman denies the charge.
We haven't seen anything that looks like an epidemic of illness going through our facilities.
Operating out of a secret base in the Nevada desert, the stealth fighter flies only under cover of darkness or clouds. 2 have crashed, and when they did, the area was immediately sealed off. The extreme secrecy was expensive and prevented realistic training. Its intended mission, knock out high-value targets in Europe.
Well, for example, command posts, radar installations, surface-to-air missile installations.
Another stealth plane, this one a long-range bomber, is scheduled to be rolled out in 2 weeks. But already the public fascination with stealth has been used to sell cars.
For the record, we introduced ours first.
The new stealth planes are the most expensive aircraft ever built. But Hicks says it would cost the Soviets an estimated $300 to $500 billion to build an air defense system that could shoot them down. David Martin, CBS News, the Pentagon.
When you weigh one diet against another, consider this. If you don't get enough protein when you diet to lose fat, you might lose muscle. Protein can help you keep muscle while you lose fat. And Special K has the highest level of dietary protein available in a cereal. So exercise your good judgment too. Include this Special K breakfast in your balanced diet. And make a firm commitment to your body. Special K. Keep the muscle. Lose the fat.
Mortgage, Bobby's dental bill.
Just as there are headaches.
And the car payment is overdue.
And headaches. There's aspirin. And there's aspirin. Anacin. Clinical tests show Anacin relieves headache pain better. Anacin's aspirin formula provides a more effective level of headache relief than regular aspirin. Better relief.
Feeling better, hun?
Not just better, better.
Anacin. Not just better, better.
When Mom gets a cough and cold, everyone suffers.
Mom, Dad's ironing.
Time to doctor that cough with Robitussin.
Look, Mom's feeling better.
Robitussin, recommended by more doctors, pharmacists, and Dr. Mom.
At Sears Veterans Day sale, you can save big on all Kenmore appliances, all refrigerators, all washers and dryers, all dishwashers, and all home electronics like this TV and VCR. All this and more, only at Sears.
Dramatic new evidence today about the terrifying mental illness called schizophrenia. It's estimated this disease affects 1 in every 100 people in the world. Now scientists report a discovery that could lead to better treatment and greater understanding. CBS News medical correspondent Susan Spencer reports.
They wander the streets, they languish in mental hospitals. There are 2 million schizophrenics in this country, their minds constantly at war with paranoia, hallucinations, delusions.
I had my head blown off with a shotgun when I was 2 years old. And before that, things happened in my crib. I remember all these things and stuff because I just remember.
In studies today in Nature magazine, researchers present the first concrete evidence that schizophrenia is a hereditary disease. So far in our studies, the gene is the most important factor, and unless the abnormal gene is inherited, it's not possible to develop schizophrenia. One study involved over 100 members of a British family, 39 of whom were schizophrenic. All shared a common genetic pattern on one chromosome. That same pattern did not appear in a second study of a large Swedish family, also with a high rate of illness, but doctors said this only confirms that there is more than one kind of schizophrenia.
The implication is that schizophrenia consists of several separately inherited diseases.
The discovery of a definite genetic link to at least one form could pave the way someday for a test to detect the disease. And researchers hope it also will help society understand that schizophrenia is nobody's fault.
The old theories that all schizophrenics were reared by families who just treated them bad or raised them wrong is basically out the window.
There is no cure for schizophrenia, but today's findings could lead to improved treatment. There are 100,000 new cases diagnosed in this country every single year. Susan Spencer, CBS News, Washington.
In Brazil, thousands of striking steelworkers marched today to protest the death of at least 3 of their co-workers. They were killed last night during a battle with hundreds of army troops at Brazil's largest steel mill. The soldiers moved in to break up a 3-day-old strike by workers demanding higher pay and shorter hours.
heartburn flaring up?
It never seems to stop.
How long have you been taking antacids?
Seems like forever.
Have you told the doctor?
Won't he just tell me to take these?
Not necessarily. Nowadays, doctors can diagnose and treat your heartburn and indigestion.
Now that's worth a visit to the doctor.
If you've been suffering from persistent heartburn, indigestion, or stomach pain, this could be a serious problem. Make an appointment to see your doctor now. Brought to you by Glaxo Pharmaceuticals.
I love them dearly, but I love them 25% less than I used to.
I can't tell you how much I love these guys, but I can tell you it's 25% less than before.
Love your family 25% less with Fleischmann's Light. 25% less saturated fat, salt, and calories than regular margarine. Zero cholesterol and 100% delicious.
I love him with all my heart, but today that's 25% less.
Fleischmann's Light. Love your family 25% less.
The making of freeze-dried Taster's Choice. Start with superior fresh brewed coffee, then freeze it. Freeze-drying is the best way to lock in the fresh brewed taste and aroma. That's why the choice for taste is Taster's Choice.
The truth is, heart specialists concerned about aspirin irritation recommend Ecotrin over Bayer to help prevent second heart attack. Consult your doctor about the only brand of aspirin that's safety coated to protect your stomach. That's Ecotrin, and that's the truth.
In California today, a disturbing dispute about questions whose answers most of us can only guess. They are questions about childhood and genius, real or imagined. David Dow reports.
It is just another child custody case. A mother and father fighting over the future of a young son. Just another child custody case, except for one thing. Adrian DeMello is not just another child. Last spring, Adrian was graduated from the University of California at age 11. An instant celebrity, an apparent prodigy.
You're 11 years old, you've got your college degree, now what?
Well, I'm not sure what graduate school I'll go to, but I want to do scientific programming.
But since then, some disturbing questions have surfaced. How did Adrian get so far so fast? Was it genius or parental pushing? How much pushing is too much? Today, Adrian's father was accused of crossing the line, of parental pushing that amounted to emotional abuse.
It ranged from what I think you could term as almost emotional blackmail from the standpoint of using the threat of committing suicide to have him achieve academic accomplishments.
The district attorney said criminal charges of child endangerment were justified, but they weren't filed, he said, to prevent a traumatic court experience for the boy. Adrian's father denied the accusations.
There was never any threat of any kind about suicide. That's ridiculous. I was always concerned about my son's welfare. First and foremost, his academics came second.
On 60 Minutes last year, Augustine DeMello portrayed his son as brilliant, a natural overachiever, even as a preschooler.
I gave him an interesting variety to read, biographies, for example, of Einstein, of Tesla, and other scientists. I thought that would stimulate his interest.
But at the university campus in Santa Cruz, some of his teachers saw a boy who'd missed part of being a boy.
It's the fact that other important parts of his development have been totally excluded.
Today, the boy's attorney said Adrian wants the furor to end, wants to see both parents, wants to get on with the rest of his life. David Dow, CBS News, Santa Cruz, California.
Moms sure make life easier. Mine did. Like another mom, Phillips Milk of Magnesia. Phillips Mom helps your body work naturally for easy overnight relief. Even has this convenient dosage cup. Nobody treats you better than Mom.
In a new survey, we asked 1,000 doctors if stranded in the middle of nowhere, would they want Tylenol, extra strength Tylenol, Advil, or Bayer? Doctors chose Bayer, 3-to-1 over extra strength Tylenol. Bayer, the wonder drug that works wonders.
Shoot some slices, salad shooter. Shoot some shreds, salad shooter. Shoot some salad, shoot it fast, shoot it pretty. Pretty salad shooter.
Presto salad shooter, slicer, shredder. Easier than a food processor. Just point and shoot slices right onto a salad. Shoot shreds right onto a pizza. Top a dessert, go a little nutty. Clean up with a wipe and a rinse, small enough to store anywhere.
Shoot some salad, shoot it fast, shoot it pretty, pretty salad shooter.
From Presto.
The new Remington Electroblade vibrating blade system has been an amazing success for those who prefer shaving with a blade. Electroblade's vibrating twin blades glide so easily you'll get the closest, smoothest blade shave you've ever imagined or your money back.
There's more furniture than you can imagine at Sears Veterans Day sale. Everything for every room in your house in every style. All furniture and bedding, all 10 to 50% off. Now, imagine it's all yours, only at Sears.
Protection of farm animals is the aim of a tough new law in Sweden. It does not prevent their eventual death, but as Alan Pizzi reports, it does improve the quality of their life.
These may be the world's most privileged pigs. Born in the animal-loving Swedish welfare state, they've just been given something unique in the world, an animal bill of rights. The new law means that farm animals cannot be subjected to factory farming methods, which are very common in the US. No more growth hormones or chemicals. The animals owe their new rights in large measure to the powerful pen of 81-year-old Astrid Lindgren, author of the famous children's book Pippi Longstocking.
I should like to tell everybody that everyone try to do what they can, that animals can be treated decently.
A series of satirical articles that Mrs. Lindgren wrote made the right of chickens to leave the confines of the egg production line a political issue. The legislation didn't please some farmers, but it went through the Swedish parliament almost without opposition. The Bill of Rights includes letting cattle out of their pens, at least in the summer. Activists want to go even further.
And I also want the hens out of the cages. And I want the pigs to have their pig rights.
Those rights include separate sleeping and eating places, and space to roam and do whatever it is that pigs like to do.
These little pigs don't know how lucky they are to be Swedish pigs with all those legislated rights. Fortunately, they also don't know that at the end of the day, all it means is that they're better bacon.
Of course, they may also be more expensive bacon. Some U.S. meat producers estimate that an animal bill of rights could raise American production costs as much as 50%. But the Swedes believe a contented animal is worth it.
Quite a few people, I think, in Sweden and other countries too, for that matter, are prepared to pay more for their food if they know that the animals have not been put to suffering in the process.
For Sweden's pigs, cows, and chickens, that means they'll be treated as well as pets, for whom life in this welfare state is already almost a fairy tale. Alan Pizzi, CBS News, Fallon, Sweden.
And that's tonight's CBS Evening News. We hope you'll stay tuned now for 48 Hours, a program on the causes and treatment of alcoholism tonight. That's 48 Hours, drunk or sober, tonight at 8, 7 Central Time. Dan Rather, see you again soon.
Drunk or sober, America's drinking problem. A deadly battle with the bottle.
Not breathing at all.
48 Hours tonight.
This is CBS.
I'm Chris Clark. Coming up next on Eyewitness News, murder charges for a mother who dumped her newborn baby in a TSU trash bin. Tennessee loses the Super Collider project to Texas and all the jobs and money that goes with it. We'll have a series of reports. A home for the mentally handicapped in Nashville is in trouble with state and Metro. We'll tell you why. And more trouble for Bobby Wilkes, the man accused of more than 25 improper burials. These stories, and Metro is getting rid of some of its most productive workers. Eyewitness News is next.